Welcome into the BSN Avalanche Weekly Breakdown presented by Headed West. Since 1996, Headed West continues to be Colorado's premier smoke shop and lifestyle store. When only the best will do, Headed West has the service and selection for you. Allie Monroy here with BSN Avalanche beat writer and occasional goalie Adrian Dater, and we're breaking down what's been going on with the team as of late. Eric Johnson has begun skating around again. Dater, is there any hope that he could be back this season?
Well, Allie, if they, I think so.
Okay.
Especially if he has good protection around his head and doesn't get hurt his head. Eric Johnson is skating again. Now, if he has a separated shoulder, it's probably a pretty bad one. He's not going to be back tomorrow or the next day. But if he were done for the year and this were a serious separated shoulder, they'd probably tell him just to go home by now. Now, look, they're also thinking they can make the playoffs, so they weren't going to tell him to go home no matter what. But I do think, from what very little I've gathered, there's some hope that he could return by the end of the season. Nothing's definite, though, right now. It's all just a bunch of hope. But the fact that he's out there, feeling good on skates, yeah, I think there's hope.
The Avs continue their 4-game homestand as they welcome the Wild and the Predators to the Pepsi Center this weekend. What will you be looking for in those matchups?
Well, Allie, these are tough games. I mean, the Wild and the Predators are in the top of the Central Division and the Western Conference, so tough games. They did beat the Wild pretty bad last time they played, so the Wild are going to be looking for revenge, but I think the Avalanche have a little more confidence now against the Wild, and more than they used to. They'd had a hex on the Avs for quite a while. They dusted them pretty good last time. So I think there's a reasonable chance of victory Friday night. The Predators are going to be tough. Avs just don't match up well against the Predators. Haven't for a few years. They're a big, fast team. They've bolstered themselves at the trade deadline. They're leading the conference in points, sort of switching back and forth at Vegas. So it's going to be a tough win, tough game, tough to win. Either way, it's going to be tough. I do think that the Avs have the talent, though, to sneak one out against a team like the Wild. They always do with a guy like Nathan McKinnon, a goaltender, whatnot. They can beat them.
Well, the Avs then travel to Chicago to take on the Blackhawks on Tuesday. The Blackhawks have struggled this season. What happened with that team?
Weird, Allie. I mean, I guess they got old overnight. I mean, this is a team that won 3 Stanley Cups in the last, 8 years, and now they're not going to make the playoffs unless they just win out, probably. Strange situation. The biggest thing that happened with them, they lost their goaltender, Corey Crawford, to injury, just haven't had the goaltending, but some of their other guys have not played well. I mean, Jonathan Toews has started to look pretty old overnight. He hasn't had that old zest of his former self. He's not dominating games like he used to. Some of their depth has not been there defensively. So, strange situation. The Avs sort of go in looking at the Blackhawks as a team they should beat. I don't think they're going to be easy to beat either way, but it's I guess the good times are officially finally over in Chicago. We won't be seeing maybe as many bandwagon fans populating the Pepsi Center as we always do. Maybe we'll see, but it's going to be still a tough game to beat those guys, though.
And finally, regardless of how the Avs finish, do you think Jared Bednar could be considered for the NHL Coach of the Year?
I think so. I think he'll get a few votes. I think it's going to be a landslide for Gerard Gallant of Vegas Golden Knights, and deservedly so. I mean, an expansion team running away with the division. But Jared Bednar should get some consideration for sure, and if they finish even stronger, then he'll get even more. But I think already there's some little bit of buzz about Jared Bednar getting some votes. It could be a finalist. If he does, he'll get a free trip to Las Vegas and get to sit in the awards show. And Patrick Waugh won it a few years ago. Joe Sacco was a finalist once for that award, believe it or not. So, I think Jared deserves it too. He's really taken this team from 48 points to 73 right now, and possible playoff spot coming up. We'll see. That'd be a hell of a turnaround.
Well, be sure to catch all of our content on bsnavalanche.com. For Adrian Dater, I'm Allie Monroy, BSN Denver. Customer service is what the team at Headed West is all about, from helping first-timers learn how to hand roll or fill a water pipe to sharing helpful hints and tips with longtime connoisseurs. Their staff is here to assist you. Check them out at theheadedwest.com.